Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now I know that quite a few of you guys are actually starting to experiment with makeup, and that's basically what I'm doing as well. So to help you along the process, I thought I would do a video on how to pick the right shade of foundation. Huge disclaimer, I am not a professional makeup artist. I haven't been trained on how to use makeup, how to choose makeup and things like that. This is purely from experience and just by seeing other people use their makeup. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. Make sure you combine your own experience as well, because the practice that you use to pick your foundations and makeup will be different to what I will tell you. So just, make sure that you take it into consideration, but also use your own judgment and experience. Now, for me, picking the right foundation was probably the hardest thing, mainly because, having brown skin, there's a lot of other colors going on there, and for us it's really hard to choose that right shade of foundation. And in the past there were only a handful of colors available, and so a lot of us actually used colors that were a lot lighter just because they were the only ones that the brands were selling. But now there are so many colors out there, there are so many shades out there that you can actually find the best shade for you. One thing I would say is the best way to color match your foundation is to purely go to a makeup counter and get them to swatch you, and that's purely what I did. So if you have the chance or the opportunity to go to a counter, please do, because they will help you out. They will use a lot of different shades on your skin, and at the end of the day it's up to you to decide, does this actually look good on me? So even if they recommend you colors, you can be like, oh, should we go a bit warmer, should we go a bit lighter? So it's a very interactive process, and that's basically their job, and they love doing that. So don't hesitate to go to a counter and just ask, would you be able to help me find the right shade of foundation? Before we get into the colors and the tones, I just want to touch on the types of foundation that are out there, because there are so many. The main ones are liquid foundation, powder foundation, cream foundation, and stick foundation. And it can be really confusing to choose which one would actually suit your skin. Now, as a basic principle from my understanding of makeup, if you have dry skin, then the liquid and the cream foundations are the best for you. If you have oily skin, then the stick foundation or powder foundation will be more suited for you. And that is because if you have oily skin and you put, a heavy liquid foundation, then it just brings out that oil, brings out that moisture, and you will look really, really glossy. Saying that, a lot of people use liquid or cream foundation and then use a powder foundation to set everything in. And that actually counteracts that oiliness that can seep through. And that's exactly what I do. My skin is on the normal to dry side, so what I do is I use a liquid foundation as a base, and then to set it, to make sure that it doesn't get too glossy, I use a powder foundation just over it. So there's a bit of flexibility in terms of which type that you can use, but I hope that sort of guides you in the direction that you want. Now, one of the key questions that you need to answer when you're trying to pick a shade of foundation is, what is your undertone? This is a question that stumps a lot of people, and just to explain what it is, essentially your skin color is made up of a lot of colors. This right here is the most complicated color combination, and every one of us are different. Some of us have a little bit of blue mixed in to give them the color, while others may have a little bit more red mixed in to give them their color. We all have a surface skin color, which is the color that sort of changes with the sun exposure and things like that, but under that there's another color which is called the undertone, and this is more of your true color, and this is what helps you pick the right foundation. There are 3 undertones that each of us will have. You're either a warm, a cool, or a neutral. So foundation colors basically come from a range of light to dark. And say that you found your shade, you're here in the medium, but even when you know where exactly you fit in that spectrum, there will be shades that are more towards the cool tone. There will be shades that are more towards the warm tone. So you need to know which undertone you are. And I've got 2 easy ways to tell which undertone you have. The easiest thing to do to determine your undertone is have a look at the veins under your skin. Now the skin here is really thin, so you'll be able to see the veins. If you have a warm yellow undertone, then your veins will appear green. But if you have a cool red undertone, your veins will appear purple. If you have a mix of those, or you can't really tell what color the veins are, you might be a neutral. The next easy way to tell is, does your skin match silver jewelry or gold jewelry? Now, as you can see on my skin, the gold actually makes my skin really bright, while the silver actually makes it a bit ashy. So if you're like me and gold goes really well with your skin, you have more of a warm undertone. But if you can pull off silver jewelry more than gold jewelry, then you are a cool undertone. And if you're one of those lucky people that can pull off both of them, then you're a neutral. So those are 2 ways of determining what undertone you are. And after knowing what complexion you have in terms of normal, dry, or oily, and after determining your undertone, now you're ready to pick the shade. The best way to pick the shade is not by looking at the online colors, it's to actually see it for yourself and actually apply it on your skin. And I cannot emphasize that enough, and I've done the mistake of buying things online without actually trying them on, and they have ended terribly. So try not to do that. Try and go to a counter, try and go to a shop and try it for yourself. And one other thing that's really important is, obviously in the shops, in the counters, the lighting is going to be really different. So what you should do is either put it on yourself, you know, you can put it on as a patch, or get them to put it on for you, and just go outside and have a look at your skin and how it looks. And you want to see it under normal daylight, not too sunny, not too shady, just daylight. And this is probably the best representation of the color, so make sure you try that. The next important thing that I want to emphasize is, when you put foundation on your skin, it goes through a process called oxidization, and this is where it reacts with the oxygen, it reacts with the skin and the moisturizers and all those elements. So even though it would look nice right when you apply it, in a couple of hours it might look completely different, and it might actually look darker. So what you need to do when you're choosing a foundation, if you have time and the opportunity, is to apply it and then just head out at least for an hour and just check what the color is doing. Even if it's just half an hour, just try it, because sometimes it oxidizes too much and you don't want to spend that much money on a foundation if it's going to be a completely different color in half an hour or 2 hours. Alright, got that? So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to pick the right shade and where to apply the foundation to get the best results. And I'm gonna apply a footage that I filmed earlier so that you can have a look for yourself. So for the purposes of the video, I've only done my eye makeup and a bit of brow, and I haven't put on anything on my face apart from moisturizer and a primer. Now, another thing that you need to remember is, when you try out foundations, make sure that your skin is hydrated, that it's moisturized, and if possible that it's primed. Because if you put foundation on dry, cracked skin, it's obviously not going to look nice, even though it might be the right color for you. When you go to a shop, they will have primers and moisturizers on tester form as well, so just make sure that you pat a bit of that on. Now, essentially, to show you how to color match foundation onto your skin, I'm going to be using 3 products. Now, these are 3 products that I have in my makeup collection. The first one is my Nars Sheer Glow Foundation in the color Syracuse. Now, this I believe is my perfect match, and This is my favorite foundation. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you will know that by now. So hopefully I will be able to show that this color matches my skin. Next is my Fenty Beauty foundation in the color 310. Now, when I purchased this, I have to say I didn't really go to a store or anything. I basically guessed it. And that is something that you shouldn't do. And when I tried it, this was actually quite light on my skin. So what I normally do is I just mix this with the Nars. But I'm going to use this to show you guys what a lighter shade for your skin looks like. The next one is my iconic London pigment stick in the color 3.2. Now, admittedly, I use this for bronzing and contouring, and I bought this for that purpose. But essentially this is a foundation, it's a pigment stick, so I'm going to use that to show you what a darker color looks like on your skin. And hopefully by using all three, I will be able to show you how to perfectly match what suits your skin. I know that there's a lot of ways of finding out your color, but the best way of finding out what your true shade is, put it along your cheek, to your jaw, and towards the neck. And the reason why we put it towards the neck is because underneath here is more of your true color, because obviously in the sun your surface skin gets a tan, so it's not a true representation of what it would normally look like. So the first thing I'm going to try is my Fenty Beauty, and I'm going to apply it with a foundation brush. Hopefully you can get a good visual of my cheeks, jaw, and my neck. And basically what you want to do is apply it. Right away you can tell that that's really light, and it's a bit too yellow for my skin even though I'm a warm tone. And even when I blend this in and I've tried it, it doesn't really look like my skin. I look like a lighter version or a more yellow version of myself, which I don't really like. So that's what a lighter version would look like if you put it on your skin. Next up is my true love, the Nars Sheer Glow foundation in the color Syracuse. I mean, normally when you swatch it, you wouldn't need this much. It's mainly for the video purposes that I have to use quite a lot, because it wouldn't show otherwise. Alright, so hopefully you can see that there's a clear warm element to the Nars Syracuse foundation. Even though it looks a tad dark, that's because it's next to the Fenty Beauty foundation, which is too light for me. And if you look a bit harder and a bit closer, you can see that it actually wants to blend into my skin color a lot more than the Fenty Beauty foundation. Next, I'm going to use my iconic London, and I already know that this is going to be really dark, but I just wanted to show you guys what that contrast would look like. So as you can obviously tell, that is very dark for my skin, and it does not want to blend in at all whatsoever. And there's a good transition actually from light to medium to dark. And once you've tried a lot of colors like this, you will get an idea of what will want to blend in with your skin color a lot more. So the next step would be just clearing out all the colors and trying to put that one color on and blending it all in. So if I try to blend Fenty Beauty, it still goes a bit white and a bit pasty. But if I try and extend this one, you can see that it just vanishes into my skin. And obviously with my iconic London, it's just gonna look like bronzer. There. So you can clearly see that there's a difference. So that is pretty much it, and I hope that you found that helpful. So try and use the tips that I have given you, and just go to a counter if you can and get them to apply the foundation and give you helpful advice. And try and make it fun, you know, it doesn't have to be a chore. It's actually really fun mixing and matching and trying to decide for yourself what goes with your skin. And a lot of it is trial and error. I've gone through a few before I came to the perfect one for me. Experiment, have fun, enjoy this process, and try and get to a stage where you are happy with the color that you're applying on your skin. If you have any other questions, leave a comment down below and I will try help out as much as I can. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and support my channel. Love you guys as always, and I will see you with another video very soon. Bye guys.